Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Cami. If you didn't already know, I plan on posting lots of videos on this channel with the same theme, kind of scary slash thriller content. Really quickly before I get into the video, I just want to say a quick thank you for clicking on my very first YouTube video on this channel. It really does mean a lot to me. Just so you know, I do have lots of content coming, mostly story times, urban legends, creepy internet threads. I will also be touching base on some haunted locations around the world and even going into some serial killer documentaries and some other criminal cases like that. Along with those sit-down videos, I also plan on exploring some abandoned locations and going to some haunted places. So if that is something you are interested in, just hit that subscribe button so you can tune in. And with that all being said, I guess we can just get right into the video. So I wanted to do this video mainly because I want you guys to get to know me better. Only really my friends and my boyfriend and some of my family know about the house I grew up in. I just want to say, if you do not believe in this kind of thing, it is totally okay. All I ask is that you guys just stay open-minded and be kind in the comments below, please. Just so you guys know, I'm not going to say anything in this video that is not 100% true. I would never do that. I take these things very, very seriously. So if you are afraid that I am making stuff up, I can assure you that I am not at all. Even my friends and some other people in my family and my boyfriend, of course, can attest to all these things being 100% true. The house I grew up in was very, very haunted, and I'm just going to be sharing with you a few stories just from growing up, probably from the ages of 5 to about 14 or 15. I think the last story is I was a freshman in high school, so around that age. Also, I wanted to say that I am a Christian. I do believe in God. With that, if you believe in good, there obviously has to be the bad. So if you believe in heaven, you have to believe in hell. Now, whatever was in my house, it could be good. Some things were just playful. Some things did not feel malevolent whatsoever. Other things did not feel good, I'm gonna be honest. So there was some bad energy when I was growing up in that house. Just not things that I'm going to be getting into, just personal stuff. And spirits tend to feed off of bad energy. So right now, there is very good energy in that house. My dad still lives there, and I have not heard anything about that place having any more activity in it, which is a very good sign. So I just want to say that bad energy can reflect on paranormal present. The house I lived in was built back in 1901. It was one of the very first houses on our block. What we know of is that a family moved into that house back in 1950. So there is like 50 years that we don't know about. So there could have been a lot more things going on that we don't know about. But what we do know is that a family moved in 1950. There was a husband, a wife, and their son. So later in the years, the husband did die in the house. He died in the upstairs master bedroom of a heart attack. Unfortunately, just a few short years later, the son also died in the house in the living room downstairs, also of a heart attack. That just left the wife in the house by herself. The wife got very, very old, and she could no longer go up and down the stairs anymore. So what they did in my house is they converted a small closet in our dining room into a downstairs bathroom for her, so that way she could easily go to the sunroom, which she converted into like her own personal another living room, I guess you could say. So she would frequently walk from that room to the bathroom, so that way she didn't have to go up and down the stairs, because she obviously couldn't get around as good anymore. And she actually could not live in that house by herself anymore. Very sad, but she was sent to a nursing home where she lived out the rest of her days. And that was when my family moved in. So the first story I want to tell is when I was about 5 or 6 years old. This is the first thing I remember. So I was playing in the downstairs area where the kitchen, dining room, and living room is. So I was running around, just, you know, being a kid, and I passed through our dining room. And this is where our staircase begins. I stop in the dining room because all of a sudden I see a very, very distinct, translucent figure of a man running down my stairs, kind of like this. If you can see that, kind of like that motion. And obviously I was very, very startled. I was crying. I went to my mom, but obviously she didn't believe me. But it was it was definitely a sight to see, and I will always remember that. It was definitely there, definitely true. I remember it just like it was yesterday. So this leads me to my second story, which is when I began to have sleep paralysis. If you guys don't know what sleep paralysis is, it's basically when your body is still asleep but your mind is very much awake, and you can see things that are happening, or your mind also makes up things kind of like in a dreamlike state, but your body is asleep. You can't move. I've had some of my worst experiences having sleep paralysis. So with that being said, I don't know if this next experience was sleep paralysis or not. I'm going to assume it is. I'm going to really hope it is, because if it was not, it would have been very, very scary if this was real life. This story was probably when I was also 5 or 6 years old. I was in the living room. I remember my grandmother was watching me this night. My mom was at work. She worked second shift, so she wouldn't be home until late. Me and my grandma were in the living room. We were watching the Rapunzel Barbie movie, if you guys remember that. I remember this like it was yesterday. It's so funny. We were in the living room. I was watching this movie, and she was on the couch, and I was on the love seat. I remember falling asleep, and I woke back up later, and the light in the living room was still on, but I look over to see if my grandma's on the couch, and she wasn't there. And I looked at the TV, and the TV had the menu screen on with the Rapunzel movie, where the credits are, like the menu, you know, it was like a DVD, if you guys know what I'm talking about. So the movie was over, it was finished, but the screen was still up at the end. So then I tried to get up, but I couldn't move at all. It was very, very scary for a little kid, you know what I mean? So all of a sudden, like, I'm trying to move, and I look over in our living room archway, and if I can give you a mental image of this, our archway is like this. Over here, behind this archway, is the sunroom. So if you peer behind here, you can see into the living room. So this is what I was seeing from that archway. I was laying on the couch, or the love seat, I'm sorry, and I looked into the archway, and I see a face peering out from the sunroom. The scariest face I ever seen in my life. Now at this point, I'm young. I don't watch scary movies. I couldn't create a face like this, but it was very, very scary to me. The face, it was, oh my gosh, I get chills thinking about it. The face was a dark, long face with yellow eyes and sharp teeth. Oh my god. It was just the scariest sight to see for a 5 or 6 year old, let alone now. Like, that's freaking terrifying. I don't remember if I woke up. That part is a little foggy to me, but I do remember what I saw, and I do remember that I could not move. I don't know what happened next after that, but obviously I'm okay now. So I was about 10 years old, maybe. Me and my family were in the living room watching a movie. So I was actually laying on the floor at this point, and the rest of my family was on the couches and the chairs around me, but I was on the floor. The whole downstairs lights were off, so it was completely dark downstairs. My family on the furniture were all asleep, so I was the only one awake at this point. The movie was still playing. So I'm watching the movie, and I hear, just from the next room over, the dining room, so you can see into the dining room from the archway, I hear a loud creak, like it was coming from someone was walking across the dining room floor. So I hear this loud creak, and automatically I jump because it was so loud. Nobody was obviously awake at this point. Sorry, my cat. I'll be right back. Oh, right. So I was looking into the dining room where this loud creak happened, and all of a sudden I see this white face with a dark body walking from the downstairs bathroom slowly back to the sunroom. Now at this point, I was freaking out. It looked like a person, but the face was so white. And obviously the downstairs part of the house is completely dark. So the fact that it had a dark body, I didn't really think much of it. I just thought a person was in our house with this mask on. Like, that's literally what I thought at this point. I said, there's someone in the house, there's someone in the house. And my dad goes to check it out. He runs to the sunroom to see who is in our house. But obviously there was no one there. I did not find out until later about the old woman that lived before us, that she would walk from the sunroom to the bathroom and back. So the fact that when I did find this out, it was so scary, but it also made so much more sense. So the next one I'm going to be telling has my friend Sarah in it. Sarah, if you're watching this, comment and say hi. This was when we were about maybe 12 or so. We were upstairs in my room just watching TV. We were sitting on my bed, and then all of a sudden, both of us, for no reason, I don't know why, at the same time, both of us look up at my ceiling, at the ceiling fan, for no reason. And then all of a sudden, as soon as we look at the ceiling fan, the string on it, to the light, just jerks. Kind of like that, like someone is pulling on it. And we both look at each other and we're like, what the heck? And it was like someone was trying to pull it down to turn off the light on us. I know it definitely freaked her out because she was scared of my house anyway. I mean, that's more of a playful kind of story. Definitely more lighthearted, but I did want to share that anyway. I was about 14 years old. I was about to leave for school, so I was walking out the back door and off the porch. What you should know is that I have a basement that is completely unfinished, grimy, nobody ever goes down there. It's very old and dingy. But we do have those windows on the bottom of our house, where all around the house where you can see in the basement. I was walking out the back door, almost off the porch, probably halfway off the porch. I was about to walk to go to school. And all of a sudden I hear just knocking coming from one of those basement windows. I'm the only one in the house at this point, and nobody goes in our basement anyway to begin with. So I just stand there and I'm just like, I must have imagined that, because it kind of caught me off guard. And so I keep walking, I'm almost off the porch, and then I hear it again. Knocking, coming from the basement window. And at that point, I knew what I heard, and I ran off that porch. I never ever walked so fast to school in my life. I just wanted to get the heck out of there. In that moment, it's just like the worst feeling, like this feeling in your gut that you know something's wrong and you know that it's not good, whatever it is. Those are all the stories that I have for you today. I have so many more. Like I said, not so much has happened since I moved out when I was about 15 or 16. I moved out. If you want to see those, let me know. I was just trying out this video for today. If you guys want to see more videos about my haunted house, just let me know. I have so many more stories, and not just about my house. I have so many other paranormal stories that I could share. Just give this video a thumbs up and please subscribe. It would mean so much to me if you did. I have so much content coming. I have so many ideas. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.